So instead of starting with you and predicting, I'm going to go, all right, I know in general this is your population curve. All right, I know that you're male, so you're falling here in this population curve. All right, you're male, you're from the south, so you're falling here in this population. I'm going to try to narrow it down and get where you're most likely to be, to where hopefully at the end I can get a pretty precise prediction about what kind of person, what your kind of person would do. That's where we're going to aim. It really offends me when many psychologists think they can predict people's behavior 10, 15, 20 years in the future, especially during the legal system. You're playing with people's lives. So this is my way of dealing with these objections. Any questions about my rejoinders? Awesome. All right, so what I want to do now is I said we're going to look at some research methodology. So that's what we're going to spend today and Wednesday, introducing you to some terminology and how it's used in psychology. So I'm going to draw inspiration for my experiments from many, many sources. I'm not going to just draw it from college freshmen. I'm going to look at assumptions that authors make. Remember, we already did that with Plutarch. Remember, Plutarch argued that Solon and Pisistratus were never going to be enemies because they were once friends. Y'all disagreed with him. But I looked at his assumptions. I looked at suggestions that other social sciences make. I go, what is an implication of this idea for my field? So I'm going to approach it from this way, and I'm not really going to care where the suggestion comes from. I'm not going to go, oh, well, that suggestion came from anthropology, so I don't need to consider it. I respect anthropologists. I don't simply go, oh, isn't that cute? I respect them. And you go, anthropologists argue that X is the case. How can I test that? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to give you some examples of this on the next slide. But what I'm going to show you how psychologists can take hints from other fields, clarify them, and test them. So I'm going to show you how psychologists can link our field to everybody else. You with me? Yay, Robinson, woohoo! All right, let's see. All right, so history. So one of the things that historians are really interested in is why do events unfold as they do? I look at this and go, well, can I use psychological principles to figure out why people might have behaved in one way or another? In my psychology of learning class, I use psychological principles of memory to try and reconstruct historical events given what I know about how people misremember. I say, well, since I know how memory works this way, I'm going to try and reconstruct the original event. Sociology. If you go across campus, there is a wonderful class, the Sociology of Mental Illness, and one of the themes in this course is the way in which social status influences the stress that people feel in their life. You might not be surprised to find that they generally think that people of lower social economic status experience more stress. Not the most profound finding in the world, but it is nonetheless gives us some conceptual clarity in this problem. What about this? I might go, is someone's social status related to their likelihood of getting arrested? What do y'all think? Oh, absolutely. So what we can do is we go, is this true across cultures and across time? Economics. I really view economic laws as applied psychological laws. So I often think, can I recast an economic law as a psychological law? So in economics, we find that as the price of something goes up, the demand for it goes down. In the sense that people buy less of it. So that's probably the most neutral way of phrasing it. As cost goes up, people buy less of a product. How might a psychologist interject themselves now? Cost goes up, people buy less of something. Well, why? Right? I mean, we know that's true, but do people make substitutions? Right? So if Arby's, I love Arby's. If anybody from Arby's is hearing these lectures, feel free to send me any coupons. That would be great. I would love them. See if I can get Arby's to finance me. All right, so if Arby's raises the price of their sandwiches, suggests that people will buy less of them. Well, is the case that what happens is people go to Arby's, let's say I used to go 5 times a week, which is not true, but I would if y'all gave me coupons. So now I could buy less by going 3. What else might I do?
Go to McDonald's.
So I substitute. I still go out, but now I substitute a different place. So that's a different way that I might solve this problem. So that's a good way. So you would go, okay, instead of buying Arby's, I now buy McDonald's, which they're actually increasing their prices. I know they got some good prices. But like their chicken sandwiches, man, they went up. All right, but if McDonald's would like to send me coupons too, but really Arby's. Like every month they give that one, and then anyway. Incentives. People respond to incentives, the way you structure the rewards and punishments. So this is what I might see how psychologists can interject ourselves into economics. We could recast their phrases, their terminology, and then go, well, why do people behave that way? There are also some economists, and this is where some people are trying to push the field of economics, which is really cool. That they approach sexual behavior as a supply and demand problem. Now, we may find that offensive. We're like, oh, I'm not. But you can sort of start going, well, how might that play out? So you might say, let's say you are a female at an all-girls school versus a female at an all-male school. Are you excited? What? Because you're like, you want to be, you're like, what? I don't know why you're there. Maybe as a part of a weird, but okay, but if you're a female at an all-male school, dating-wise, how much control do you have over who you're going to date?
A lot.
You have all the power. So you're a female at an all-male school, and a guy says, hey, I'd like to take you out to Crystal. What can you reasonably do to this person? You can say no, because you know that another offer is probably going to come along, and it's not going to be Crystal, but it might be Arby's. Or if Jim and Nick's also wants to send me coupons. All right. Versus if you're a female at an all-female school, you might think colloquially your standards might broaden out. We're going to come back to that topic. The judiciary system. It makes assumptions about people's behavior. To give an example of an assumption of the judiciary system that really annoys me to no end. Seriously, I just want to strangle someone. It is not a defense of speeding to argue that everyone else was doing it. That strikes me as a rather perverse claim, because the group has said it is safe to travel this speed. Why are you singling me out? There are other ways to solve the problem of speeders. Or judiciary system, and many cities are employing red light cameras. So you can start figuring out what's going to happen to people's behavior. So, okay, I know there's a red light camera. If I run the red light, I run the risk of getting a ticket. But if I slam on my brakes, what's going to happen? I get rear-ended. Anyone want to take a guess what's happened in cities that have installed red light cameras?
There's more accidents.
There's more accidents. So we can do this. Anthropology, we've already talked about ease of getting people to form groups. We're also going to talk about, in many cultures we find they form themselves into status hierarchies, and they tend to follow, some people tend to have the legal authority of this, or legal or social authority. We're going to see how people respond to that. Literature, so for example, many writers make assumptions about human nature. To return to this one, like many authors believe that females should play hard to get if they want to attract a mate. We can test that assumption, whether or not it actually works. No, there are people who've tested that assumption. They've been like, everybody says women. Do y'all think this will work? So okay, you know, if y'all, I need your clickers. So here's how we can phrase the question.
Well, I mean, I just feel on a larger scale, I mean, women hold all the power anyway when it comes to dating. It's up to you to decide whether you want to go home with this guy.
Well, it's not really, because for every one woman, there's 7 men. So, okay, except for in the city of Birmingham. So I'm from.
Do you know where they are?
Yeah, I know. But like it's statistically for every one woman, there's.
Every one woman or one single woman?
For every one woman.
I thought it was opposite. I thought it was more women than men.
Okay, I don't know the distribution.
The world is 53% women. It's surplus of women in the world.
There's a surplus, but I don't think it's 7 to 1.
It's for every. I don't know if it was single women. I read a whole article.
Yeah, we're gonna need to find this article. You know what? It's an empirical question. It's an empirical question. Challenge me. Challenge me. It's an empirical question. I mean, I'm wondering if it was like single women.
I don't know.
Relative.
Now that I think about it, I don't know if it was single women or not.
That's
But
right.
it was for. They said for every one woman, there's 7 men.
If that were the case, okay, if it were the case that for every one woman there are 7 men, who would have the power in that
Women.
situation?
In the 1980s, there was a statistic that said there's actually, if every male got married to one female in America, there would be a surplus of 7.8 million women.
Yeah, because statistically there are more women in the population. We keep killing ourselves.
Yeah, that's true.
But are you talking more about quantity or quality? If women are playing hard to get.
With playing hard to get, the argument very often gets phrased as women, if they play hard to get, will attract a higher quality of man. That's not today's lecture. Biology. One of the things that any I was going to ask you. Right, that's right. My bad. You all right? You all right? It was going to be, do you think women should play hard to get? That's what I was going to say. And we can divide this one up into male and female. So we can say, we're going to go A, B, C. So we're going to say male, you think they should. Male, you think no, women should not. Female, yes. Female, no. Do you think women should play hard? Do you think that helps them attract a higher quality? So we'll narrow it down. You're male, so your answer choices would be, do you think playing hard to get would help a female attract a higher quality of male? Let's just go 5. This is 5, 4, 3, 2, 2, 1. I don't know where y'all are at. Let's see. Oh, wow, 19. Okay. Y'all, y'all's belief on this question. Now, this is not saying what our answer is. Y'all's belief is, y'all are split down. There it goes. And so we might later go, here's an interesting, we'd have to do some statistical analyses to see if there's really a sex difference. But just by eyeballing it, it seems that women think. Then you know what y'all should stop doing? When you get a text at 6 o'clock on a Friday, like, hey, what are you up to, baby? Stop responding. That would be my thing. Biologists sometimes go cross-species predictions about parental investment. That is how much resources go into the offspring. Some people argue this helps explain human behavior. So we have lots of things that we can do. And then what we're going to start with on Wednesday is start taking this and clarifying and giving you some terminology to use in your life. Any questions before we close? Awesome. All right, I will see you on Wednesday.